Thank you for listening to Life Improvement Radio. You are listening to a rebroadcast of a previously recorded show.
Hi, everyone. It's Neil Haley, the Total Tutor, and we're live at my book for Powered by Life Improvement Radio. Final thing, we're going to say sayonara once this interview's over, as we finally have a phone call. My offices are going, and that's you never know what's going to happen live. So I'm going to turn it over to Eric Remmel, Life Improvement Radio, my co-host. Eric, how are you?
I'm doing great, and it's been a good time here. Miami International Book Fair, talking to all these great authors, and actually we're on the last one today for the weekend, actually, and we're looking forward to speaking with Howard Axelrod here shortly. Neil, how's this weekend been for you?
Fantastic. It's been a great experience. I learned so much, and I can't wait to reminisce during the holidays about all the authors I've interviewed. I wish I could reminisce everyone I've interviewed in the past 6 years. As my anniversary will be December 6th. I've been on the radio for 6 years. So I'm excited about the program. Author Howard Axelrod. Howard, thanks for calling, and how are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. How are you enjoying the Miami Book Fair?
I'm enjoying it. I got a chance to go to the beach yesterday, which I guess is more Miami than book fair, but that was great to get a chance to go in the ocean. And the book fair itself it's just been so thought-provoking. I've had the chance to go to a couple panels and talk to lots of other authors, and it's an exciting time.
It's funny you say the beach, Howard, with the title of your book, The Point of Vanishing, a memoir of 2 years in solitude. The beach can be solitude. It can definitely, you can vanish in the beach, can't you? And turn off your cell phone, turn off your whatever, and kind of just be away from everything.
Right. That's right. So the book is. I spent 2 years in solitude in northern Vermont, and I had no cell phone, and I had no computer, and I didn't see people often for 3 or 4 weeks at a time. Which only when I would only see people when I would have to go into the small town to pick up food. It's quite a contrast being at the book fair with so many people.
Definitely, Eric. Isn't that pretty interesting?
It really is.
You like sometimes being in solitude, right, Eric?
Yeah, I love to, but it never seems to happen as of late. Always busy on the go, being an entrepreneur. You're never alone, never get any moments of peace and quiet. But I would love, literally, on my bucket list is to go to Bora Bora or just a nice beach, clear water, off the grid, and just literally live without technology for a couple of years. I would be in heaven.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people feel that pull, and and there's so many reasons why I think people feel that pull. Part of it is, the question of identity. I mean, so much of who we are is based on the roles we play for other people, for better and for worse. And so then there's the question if we took all of that away, who are we alone? What do you get down to? And then if you do get down to some part of yourself that isn't based on who you are for other people, can you then bring that back to your dealings with other people? Can you live from that place? So I think that the idea of just sort of clearing out all the noise, clearing out all the roles and the masks that we play and that we wear, and getting down to something that's more simple, more fundamental.
Definitely.
And I hate to say that the people end of it too, Howard, in a way, dealing with kind of keeping yourself from certain people can keep you in a sense of peace as well. Dealing with certain ones in a solitude type of thing, but a lot of times it's just keeping to yourself in quiet for some time, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's something that can eventually be dangerous about it. I mean, it's if you're talking to a Zen master and you say you spend all this time alone, and in my experience, I mean, I found that I was getting close. I started to feel not human so much and more like I was a part of the wind, a part of the weather. And if you say that to a Zen master, he'll say, "Oh, good job, well done." But if you're talking to a psychiatrist and you say that, he might say, you should lie down on my couch. I'm a little bit concerned. So I think there's a fine line between sort of revelation and getting to a kind of a place where you might have certain sorts of insights or sorts of feelings that you can't have in your daily life. And on the other hand, you can start to verge towards, like a feeling at the ocean, actually, that feeling that I think a lot of people have of just wanting to walk or to swim out towards the horizon. There's something really inviting about the horizon, and yet, of course, if you continue to swim out towards the horizon, you do vanish. I mean, there's solitude taken to the extreme starts to become dangerous, and so it's a fine line.
It's a fine line, and you just never know, Howard. And I guess what did you do with not having all those things? Enjoying nature. What would you say was your favorite activity, being away from so many of those things?
Yeah, so my days were quite simple. I mean, I had a wood stove for heat, and when I'd wake up, I could generally see my breath. It'd be very cold, and so I'd have to go down and get the wood stove going, and I enjoyed doing that. And but then I would just go for walks. I'd snowshoe up into the trees. And I mean, a key thing about solitude is that I mean, I had no watch, and there was no clock, there was no computer, there was nowhere was there the time flashing at me. And so my sense of time changed completely. I woke up with the sunlight. I went to bed more or less when it got dark, and during the night, if I woke up, I could tell more or less what time it was by where the constellation of Orion was in the sky. And so when you lose clock time and you start to live more by event time, I don't know, it changes everything. Activities change. So if I drank some tea in the morning, normally if you're looking at your watch and you have to make it to your job, or you have to make it to an appointment, or you have 5 minutes to drink your tea, and then, but if all you have to do is get wood in the wood stove and maybe go snowshoeing later in the day. I mean, I don't know how long it took me to drink my tea, but I have a feeling it took a lot longer than 5 minutes. I mean, I just did everything very slowly and tried to pay attention to whatever I was doing, and to just sort of reorient. I mean, a key reason why I went to the woods was 2 weeks before the end of my junior year at Harvard, I was blinded in my right eye. And so after that, everything looked different to me. I looked the same. I mean, my eye, for a while, my right eye looked the same as my left, but outwardly the world looked very different. I lost depth perception. Surfaces didn't look solid. I couldn't tell where objects were in space. And so a lot of what I was doing in the woods was trying to reorient through my senses. I was trying to get a different kind of depth perception that wasn't purely based on just the visual. So I mean, when I tell people what I did, they say, that's, first they say that's nuts, but then they say, what did you do all day? Didn't you get bored? You didn't have TV, you didn't have movies, you didn't have a cell phone. But really, I wasn't bored, because I was paying so much attention to how I was seeing, how I was hearing, and so I was kind of experimenting with my senses all day, day after day.
Eric, I wanted to say something, and I know you have a question for him. Is what I see, Eric, is when you go ahead and finish up your day, your work, whatever it is, an entrepreneur, it's very hard for us to get away from things. I consider family life solitude, time where I'm away from my phone and my computer is solitude, the ability to not be going 100 miles an hour is solitude, especially on the weekends, except this weekend. But that's usually what it is, Eric. What is your thought?
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I think probably one of the most valuable things is being able to unplug, going out in the woods, like you said, and reorienting yourself, but not having to be inundated with like TV and cell phones and all these different things. Was there any important lessons that you learned or took away from that while you were there?
Yeah, there are a couple. I mean, one is just sort of how variable our consciousness is. I mean, meaning that if you're constantly on the phone and looking at the computer, and it can really change the way you pay attention. And conversely, if you take all that stuff away, it's kind of amazing just, as human beings, what we've evolved to be able to do, how acute our hearing can be, how strong our memories can be. I mean, for instance, when I would go into that little market in town to do my, my shopping every 3 weeks or whatever, there would be music playing, but I didn't have music, back at the house. So, and it seemed like it was always Elton John. For whatever reason, Elton John is the music of choice in supermarkets. And for me, it would be like a drug. I mean, it would be astounding to hear, say, Rocket Man or Crocodile Rock as I was going through this little market. And by the time I got back to the house, when I unloaded my groceries, without trying to, I could remember every single item that I picked, where I was in the market, what lyric was playing at the time that I picked it. It was like a whole map of my experience through the market was still in my mind.
Wow.
Because when I wasn't there, there was no music, there were no other people, there was nothing I really had to remember, there was nothing coming in that was human. And so I don't know, I guess my mind was so hungry for it, or just I think our memory is capable of that, but we're generally so bogged down with so many other details that we don't know how much we're capable of remembering. So that's certainly one of the things that struck me, is just, sort of what we're capable of as human beings, but we often don't get the chance to know it because we're so encumbered by all kinds of noise.
Where's the best place we can purchase your book and learn more about you? Where can we go?
So I have a website. It's howardaxelrod.com. Axelrod is AXELROD. It's also on Indie Next, or whatever the independent Indie I forget what it's called, but you can look it up, and it's on Amazon, of course, and if you're close to an independent bookseller, I highly recommend going into your independent bookstore and buying it there.
All right. Well, thanks again for calling the program, Howard. Best of luck to you, and take care.
Great. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. All right, Eric, it's time to say goodbye. Thanks for doing the show with me today and running 5 hours of great Miami Book Fair interviews. Thank you, Miami, for the opportunity again. Look forward to next year. And, Eric, you got your work cut out for you to make them an individual podcast, get them out in the syndication. I have my work cut out for us, but the days of being live till tomorrow, we got to say goodbye. So thanks again, Eric.
Take care. I'll see you next year.
All right, sign there, everybody. Thanks for listening, and thanks for listening to the Total Education Network. Take care.
Thank you for listening to Life Improvement Radio. The views expressed by show hosts or their guests are their own and shall not be construed in any way as advice from Life Improvement Radio. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our website. Personal perspectives expressed by the producers, writers, or editors will always be presented as such. Any rebroadcast or retransmission without the expressed written consent of Life Improvement Radio is strictly prohibited. Thanks for listening.